Good morning, everyone. We are joining in progress a SOMIFA semifinal playoff game between Tim Bowler with Tampa Bay and the Cincinnati Bengals, coached by Jay Villing. Cincinnati looks like they're the home team here, so I believe they would be the number 2 seed. Tampa Bay is the number 3 seed. I'm just joining here 5 minutes on a running clock in the first quarter, so we'll look at the box score to see how exactly Tampa Bay took the lead at 7-0. Now they've taken the lead at 14-0. So this game started a little bit early, so we're just playing a little bit of catch-up ball here. So that extra point makes the score 14-0. And so now Cincinnati, the 2 seed, will take over 1st and 10 at their 25. See if anybody's joined us here on the broadcast. It looked like it, not yet. Okay. So let's take a quick look at the box score here and see exactly what we can see. So a Tevin Coleman 6-yard run and a Miles Sanders 4-yard run. And there's a deep shot, a long gain with one man back. That pass is completed and 1st down. I got to open the so far box today to see exactly what happened there. That's Carr who passed to Jones. Let's see which Jones this is. I'm sure there's a few Jones in the NFL. Let's see if that's Julio. Well, they must have gone 3 wide there. So I'm sorry, I'm a little disoriented here. The game, like I said, it was supposed to start a little bit later, but it's now started. So at least I can bring some of this broadcast and we'll try to get some sort of a semblance of order here. But that didn't take very long for Cincinnati to drive down the field and make the score 14-7. So let's see exactly what Jones that was. No, Robinson. No, hold on. So I believe it was Aaron Jones. Well, how about that? So a pass out of the backfield to Aaron Jones, and the score is now 14-7. Tampa will take over in this high-scoring first quarter, 21 points already on the board. Tampa's the number 3 seed. We've already played the 1-4 contest that was between the Jets and Seattle. No spoilers here, but we'll reveal the winner here at the end of this game. But the other game has been set. Hey, Dennis, morning.
Morning.
Been some fireworks in this game already.
Yeah, I haven't really. I was getting my other league ready to publish for the week. Because Mahomes started the whole game?
I got in with 5 minutes, and the second I got in, basically Tampa had a 6-yard run. I think it was Miles Sanders for score, so that was 14-0. Cincinnati got the ball back and just hit a 66-yard deep shot to Aaron Jones, and they scored on a 9-yard pass afterwards. So that's kind of where we are.
Right. Yeah. It looks like some big plays have happened so far.
Yes, absolutely.
I see a Darius Slayton pass for 41 yards on the first drive by Tampa Bay. A Blake Jarwin pass for 46 yards on the second drive. Mm-hmm. And then you already mentioned the big pass to Aaron Jones for Cincinnati. So Tampa Bay's hit a couple of long passes. Looks like Mahomes is starting this drive. But I think the other drive, it looks like Prescott started. In this league, whoever starts the drive stays in the drive. So you can change quarterbacks at the beginning of each drive.
Okay.
So what is it? It's going to be 3rd and 12 now. Mm-hmm. Let's see if Mahomes can pick up one of these crucial 3rd downs. So Tim getting up 14-0. There was also a missed field goal on there by Cincinnati.
I see.
So both teams scored on their could have scored on their first 2 possessions. So it could be like 14-10 right now if he didn't miss the field goal. But
okay.
14-7, and Tampa Bay is looking to pick up this 3rd down just shy of midfield 3-3-5, and Tampa Bay stays in a standard set of halfback blocking back set with Jarwin as the blocking back.
It's Derek Carr. Okay.
Yeah, they have Derek. Cincinnati has Derek Carr. Tampa Bay still trying to figure out how to use the 2 quarterback set because that hasn't been invented yet. But both those guys are dangerous.
It's an embarrassment of riches.
There's a 12-yard dump off to. It was a slant to Ebron. It's a 12-yard dump off to Jarwin on the receiver card. Only 8 and 12 would have gotten him that first down, and there was a 55% chance of a sack. Josh Allen against Taylor Moton, but it was a random roll of 72. So nice conversion there. The Tampa Bay offense rolls on. Perhaps a harbinger of what's to come in the NFL. Tampa Bay will have to be defending Patrick Mahomes. This time they get the benefit of Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback. Oh, can you make it full screen on the?
Oh, I thought I had. Sure.
They don't need to see our mugs in there. There
no
you go.
Way. It starts in full screen. I think when you add somebody, it reverts back to that.
Always, every time you add somebody, it switches to that.
You have to remember.
Second and 10. Mahomes is fantastic in this set, but his emphasis is more on the short and long pass, whereas Dak's more of a good flat passer. There was a correct double team on Dawson Knox. It would have been 2 yards without the double team, but still, you feel good about that as a defensive coach. Setting up another 3rd and long, 3rd and 9 now.
Mm-hmm. We just now entered the second quarter, 14-7. The winner will face the winner of, well, it's already happened, face the winner of the Jets and Seahawks here in SOMIFA. And at the end of this broadcast, we shall reveal the winner.
You can tell them now. There's no big drama. People are not going to. No. Right. We have 24 members in the league. If you don't know the result by now after I wrote the recap and posted the video, you don't really want to know. So,
all right.
You're
so
probably not watching this one.
Any of you guys who are in a cave, you probably don't get internet access if you're in a cave. But if you just emerged from that cave, Dennis and his Seattle Seahawks will be taking on the winner of this contest. And there is an incomplete pass. So Cincinnati is finally able to stave off this Tampa Bay drive.
Now, again, I think Tim will punt, but this is an area where, you're going to pick up 23 yards of field position. You might risk that with trying to convert it. But when you have the lead this early in the game, so much time left, you want to pin Cincinnati deep. But it looks like the kick is too long and it's going to go in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll start at the 20. Couldn't quite get the coffin corner to work.
All right. So I think we mentioned the other night that you've won this league once. Did Bowler tell us that he's won this league once, I believe? And
no, he's been in. There's another deep shot to Aaron Jones, and again, it's guessed wrong, and it connects. So Aaron Jones already has 96 yards of receiving on 2 catches.
That's something else.
That would have been 30 yards guessed right even. Derek Carr firing up the deep ball, which is usually not his forte. But Tim's been to 2 Super Bowls, and he lost both.
Okay.
Jay's won it like 5 years ago.
Right.
Inside run to Jones. Tim sticks with the run call.
Yep.
It's going to be only a 1-yard gain. Passed into Bucs territory now as Jay looks to tie it up. Man, you feel good if you fall behind 14-0, and you get touchdowns in your next couple of drives to get back in the game.
Total new game. You're right.
And we'll see who comes out for Tim in the revolving door of quarterbacks next. Inside run to Jones. There's a man in the zone guessed wrong. And it's going to be the dreaded 5. Your namesake there, Michael.
Here you go.
Your nom de plume. Tom, of course, trademarked it, and we all use it. But
right. And I pay him handsomely for those rights.
Nice. So 3rd and 9. Derek Carr's got Aaron Jones in the backfield. Emmanuel Sanders, Tyler Higbee, Allen Robinson, and Tim Patrick are the receivers. Not showing blitz. Tim's got a lot of 4s in the defensive backfield. So you could take deep shots, try to beat those 4s over the top.
Mm-hmm.
So curl to Allen Robinson, 3 men in the zone because he's pulled his extra DB back. Guessed right, and it hits the 7, dancing between the raindrops. That's your catchphrase. I shouldn't be stepping on your catchphrases.
I expect a check in the mail, and I also accept PayPal. So
sounds good. Now there's a coffin corner kick that's going to work. It's going to get down to the 3-yard line.
Absolutely.
So who's it going to be, Prescott or Mahomes? Maybe they're alternating. You know, I may have spoken incorrectly. I didn't see the first 2 drives, and the box score shows us a run for the touchdown. So I don't know who was in there on the first drive.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Mahomes on this recent drive. I mean, you got 97 yards to go. Who are you going to turn to?
I'm guessing Prescott. He's got this deep. I'd say he's just going to be conservative. I don't know. It must be nice to have to think about this. I mean.
And you're right. It is Prescott.
Okay.
Jay is 3-4 showing blitz. He's picked up that great card, the great player that you like, in Josh Allen. He's got a good card, 0-12-1 asterisk at one defensive end. 5-6 at another, 5-1 up the middle. His linebackers are a little weak. He goes for a hitch, and it's a short gain. Nice call there by Tim. He finds the vacated zone, gets the short gain, and gets a big short gain out to the 22. It was a 1X too, so there was no chance for a sack.
And a white die 6 would have had it either way.
Well, unless he left 2 men and they'd look in. So.
Oh, that's true. No, that's right.
But you're right. That definitely helps. Off tackle run right to Coleman. Guessed right, nobody there, but it hits the short gain on Coleman's first. Look at that.
Wow.
Out to the 35. Jay's secondary is quite a bit better, as you can see. There's a fly to Darius Slayton, turns into a dump off for 5 yards, Dawson Knox. But look at, you compare Tim's all 4s secondary to Cincinnati's. They've got a 5 cornerback, and then everybody else is a 6. 6 free safeties, 6 strong safeties, 6 cornerback, right cornerback. So they're a little bit weak at the linebacker spot with 4s and 0s, but strong in the defensive line and really strong in the backfield.
Right.
Pitch out right to Miles Sanders. He's being keyed, but there's nobody in that particular zone, and he's going to pick up 5 yards in the first down. Look at these 2 coaches coaching like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great call by Jay, but he figured, if he's going to run an in run, he's going to go out that 0 defensive end, Josh Allen. So he shifted his defensive line that way, but left open the end run spot.
Right. Now, do they play with yards after catch in either of these leagues, this or SSFA? Neither one, I say.
No, we don't go for those nonsense rules.
Gimmicky rules. No gimmicks. Okay.
That's right. No gimmicks. That's the SOMIFA NFL Ed slogan.
You play in a lot of leagues. Does anybody have, any of the leagues you play in have that great player impact rule?
No, I played in a league many years ago called KSFDL that used it, and they still use it. But again, that's another rinky-dink rule, and I just got out of that league. Curled to Darius Slayton, hits the interception spot. Now, this is where the average and good pass defensive cards come into play. If that was the average defensive cards, that's a 12-yard pickup.
Okay.
But on the good defensive cards with 3-min in zone, it's incomplete. So that's what you get for being a higher seed. She got a little bit of an advantage there.
Sure.
When you have all those 6s and 5s in the defensive backfield, it's harder to beat those guys over the top unless you land on the quarterback's card. You're not going to get, your defender X or long gain or defender X or plus 30 rolls against that strong of a secondary.
Correct.
So it changes the game a little bit. I bet you we see a lot more Prescott just to take advantage of those linebackers with the flat passing.
Sure, right.
Mafia goes with it just a sec. Jay is the Memphis Mafia in other leagues. I think the IFL or Tecmo. So Mafia says to hold on. Maybe checking a rule. Maybe want to do something funky there. I don't know.
Any leagues that you play in with the flat pass as runs?
Nope.
Nope.
Yep.
I think that just came and went.
We still have Yak and SFFDL, my draft league, my 2014 draft league. But remember, I kind of took over the reins from Mark Long for that, and that was the way he had it set. And I always bring it up for a vote, but the majority seem to like it.
Okay.
Curl to Darius Slayton's going to turn into a dump off, and he's going to pick up the first down. Calvin Ridley outmaneuvers Tre'Davious White and gets the 14 yards. So the dump off happened because Jabal Sheard's 4 couldn't beat Ronley Stanley's 7. So Tampa Bay nearing scoring range. They need to get a couple more first downs, or at least one more. Screen right to Coleman. Hits the defender -1 or +3, and that's going to lose a yard. Lorenzo Alexander's up to the task. Ex-Seattle Seahawk, Lorenzo Alexander. I traded him to Jay for a 7th-round pick next year. He's retired now.
Kind of fun to watch Tampa play because when SSFA is going to roll around, of course, I have Prescott and I have Miles Sanders as well. So it's kind of fun. Did you say he also has Darius Slayton as well?
Yeah, he has Slayton.
Yes.
Square out left to Slayton, speaking of him. It's guessed wrong. It's because it was a run call and it's incomplete. It hits a blink on 6. Yeah, aren't you glad you picked Prescott instead of picking Jared Goff both times?
Yeah, I still can remember the 15 minutes of stinging criticism from somebody in the draft recap show.
For picking Prescott? Did he criticize you for picking Prescott or Goff? I can't remember.
Pretty significantly, yeah.
For Goff.
That was a knuckleheaded move.
For which one? Prescott?
Yeah, when I took Prescott, he thought Goff was the answer, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Prescott had a better card, but you weren't ready to compete or something like that. But I think obviously that was the right choice. And run to Prescott.
Probably the pedigree of waving on a number 1 pick and taking a guy who was picked so deep. Hey, big run there for.
Yeah, 3rd and 11. He goes for the end run, trying to set it up for a 4th and short, but he hits a perfect spot on the defensive cards. Maybe even hoping to get that defensive end +11 or +47 or +8 or +21 on the edges. Yeah. But it worked out perfectly for him.
He's got a decent end run card. This is the first I've looked at it. I don't have him on any other team, so it's kind of like.
Yeah, watch the strategy. Tim knows how to use them. That's for sure. Yep. As being a Cowboy fan and having both of those guys.
I see.
Button hook to Miles Sanders is a 6 there. It's going to be incomplete. 2nd and 10.
How'd you do against Grand Rapids?
Took care of him. I don't think he was really trying that hard, though, because it didn't really make any difference for seeding.
Not at all.
I think it was like 28-7 or 21-7, something like that.
He locked in number 4. It didn't matter.
Oh, I got to mail those files. Shoot, I'm going to do that on a break here. Bomb to Calvin Ridley, and it's incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and 10.
There's lots of players on my team. Ridley's on my autumn win team. So.
Yeah, it's like a mirror image.
Gotta be happy with that. Gosh, he's really, really made strides.
So he goes again to the blocking back halfback set, allowing Jay to go 3 wide and double team 2 guys if he wants. But we saw him run out of this last time on 3rd and long to get into field goal range. Will he go after that end run again, or will he throw it to one of the guys in the backfield? Maybe try to throw it to Ebron or Slayton because they're covered by a 6. He goes to Ebron, guessed right, incomplete on a 4 on the D cards. So it'll be Young Wei Koo time. Kick is up, kick is good. That's why you spend a high pick on a kicker. For key spots like this. 17-7 Tampa Bay up against Cincinnati, 5:24 to go in the half. And let me check the ball possession. So Tampa Bay got the ball first to open the game, which means Cincinnati will get the ball first. So ideally for them, they go down and get points here, use up all the time, go down and get points to start the second half, and either are in the lead or have it tied.
I got locked out.
All right. Off tackle right to Aaron Jones, 3-4, not showing blitz, and it hits the dreaded 5. So it'll be 2nd and 10. We get the radio call until Michael gets back in.
There we go.
So Aaron Jones in the 2 tight end set. Vernon Davis is the second tight end opposite Tyler Higbee. I think here's a button hook to Aaron Jones. 1 man in the zone. It's a 0 though. I think and that's going to pick up 8. Guessed right on Jones's card. But that may be why Derek Carr is going to throw deep a little more today, is because of all those 4s in the secondary.
You know, what's interesting about this too, I don't know if you noticed, but Jay's line is really below average pass blockers, significantly. But Tim doesn't really have much of a way to expose them because he doesn't have very good pass rushers, linebackers, or defensive line.
So a guessed wrong end run there landed on the bailout 10 roll, blocking back +5 or -1, and there was no blocking back in the 2 tight end set. So he loses a yard and he'll have to punt. Man, this punter, Tress Way, is having his way today. Gets another one inside the 10.
Well, that's a nice card. I mean, like everything above 2 through 9 is 48. That is a weapon. All right. So already up 17-7. Tampa Bay will take over with just 3 minutes here in the first half. Did he bring
I'm going to put a link up here because Zeb's asking about the broadcast. So let's get some other guys in here.
Sure.
I shared your link out.
Thank you. There's an inside run. Picks up 5 on the play. I believe it was Tevin Coleman. 2nd down and 5.
I'm going to also forward him the files. All right, 2nd and 5 is going to get a 12-yard guessed wrong short pass on Dak's card. So big conversion there because you don't want to punt it right back to Cincinnati after that great punt, pin them deep in their own zone. So the 1st and 10 at the 24, as I'm trying to get everybody situated here. It'd be nice to have Zeb join us too. Remember to go full screen once you add him in. He should be there shortly.
Okay.
We'll get him in at halftime. 17-7, 2:06 to go in the half. And see if anybody else wants to jump on. Maybe Nathan will jump in too.
Yeah.
Fly to Darius Slayton. Double teaming Calvin Ridley. And he's no man in zone, but again, he's covered by a 6. he needed to land on the receiver card. So even though there's 5s and 6s in the secondary, Tim's not being shy about taking his shots, which I think you have to do. You know, in an important game like this, not necessarily go big or go home, but you need to at least give yourself a shot at some big plays, because that's what will decide this game.
Sure.
Of course, you're also risking yourself to turnovers, which is another factor. 2nd and 10, out at the 24. Sanders and Jarwin in the backfield.
That's interesting. So he's got good pass defense with 0 men in the zone. That interception rate, let's see, only 2 through 4. I wonder. I have to look at Prescott's card here in just a little bit. I'm curious to see if he is pretty preserves the ball on his card. He usually isn't much of a turnover machine.
So he keyed Sanders on an end run, thinking he might go after that 0 again, but he called right, and stuffed it for 0 yards. It would have been +6, guessed wrong, which would have broken contain. So another 3rd and 10. Tampa Bay's been great on 3rd downs today. Let's look at the box score. Tampa Bay's 4 for 6 on 3rd downs, while Cincinnati is 1 for 4. So that's really the story of this first half, is 3rd down conversions and big plays. Third and 10, 1:30 to go. Slant to Ebron, again, single covered. Both receivers were double covered. It's on Prescott's card, incomplete on a 5. So he will have to punt back, but at least he used up a lot of the time. But 122, Jay will get the ball with 1:15 and should have time to mount a drive. 2-yard return, so 1:15 to go. 1st and 10 at the 30. See if Zeb's in there now.
Sure.
Check your lobby.
I will. There's one person there.
Yeah, add Zeb. Bradley doesn't look like he has it. Then go full screen again.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep. Gotcha.
Cool.
Okay, I'll tab back to the game, Michael.
Sure.
I'm like the producer in the truck. 1st and 10. 3-3-5 for Tampa Bay, and Jay decides to try to run him out of it with a off tackle run to Aaron Jones. Only picks up 3. It's a stark contrast, Zeb, between these two teams in the secondary. One's got all 4s and one's got 5s and 6s, mostly 6s.
Well, so I'm joining late here, but has Tim been using Prescott or Mahomes?
Well, we joined late too, because I had another thing I was doing.
Okay.
But he used Mahomes on 1 drive and Prescott on all the others. Maybe Mahomes on 2 drives, because I didn't see the very first drive of the game. What would you do in that case with that secondary and the good pass defense? Would you go Mahomes or Prescott?
Well, after watching Nathan win S28 with Prescott at quarterback, Tim's got and a weak secondary. Tim's got to feel like, he's got pretty much the same formula going here.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I think you want to attack Jay in the flats because he's got a lot of 4s and 0s at linebacker.
Yeah.
So, so I think Prescott is going to be the answer.
And just a lot of times the best defense is just keeping the ball yourself. Just as I think you referred to it, offense by 1,000 cuts.
Right. Off tackle left to Jones. Guess wrong. Nobody's in the zone. It's going to be 5 yards and a pickup. It's going to take the clock down to 30 seconds. 22. He'll take a timeout. So Tim kind of content to go in at up 17-7, not really trying to stop the first down. He just wants to stop Jay from scoring. So he plays a more of a zone, pulled the extra DB back to have 2 men deep.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna make Jay earn it. I mean, even 3 points is kind of a victory for Jay here, because that gets it within a touchdown.
Yeah, and Jay gets the ball first to start the second half. So, he's looking to catch some lightning in a bottle here. He goes three wide receivers, curled up Robinson, Only 3 men in zone because he pulled the extra DB back, but that one DB makes the play. Darryl Worley's 4 against a 4 stops that from being a short gain and really giving him a good chance at a field goal.
And I'm sure Tim is happy to milk some extra carries here too if Jay wants to sort of waste them.
Right.
It may or may not be a waste. If one big hit could either be a touchdown or put him in field goal range.
Right. It's only a waste if you don't score. But Jay's really good at conserving carries. He wants to have Aaron Jones available later, so looks like he's going to keep it in the air to try to pick this up. Maybe some flat passing here, hoping to catch Tim with some doubles.
He's only got a couple plays left before, even with his timeouts.
Right. And so he's hoping for like a white die 6, get him a plus 20 or something like that.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see Jay go flat again here.
There's a screen right. He gets 9. It's on the quarterback's card. Gets out of bounds. So he has one more play here. The backup halfback for the Bengals is Latavius Murray. So
who we're both very familiar with.
Yeah, you could use him quite effectively in certain cases, especially with a strong offensive line like Jay has.
Mm-hmm. But he's still not the same big play threat that Aaron Jones is.
Oh, for sure. No,
and,
not very
Aaron
many.
Jones, kind of like Miles Sanders, has also got that. He's a deep threat too.
Yeah, he already caught 2 passes today for 30 yards.
I mean that puts more pressure, especially on a secondary like Tim's.
Exactly.
Well, I guess
I'm sorry. He got 1 pass for 30 yards and 1 pass for 66 yards. So setting up.
Were they long passes or were they?
Yeah, they were both long passes. Button hook to Jones. Tim left a guy there. So he's hoping for it not to be a white die 6 on the D cards, and it's not 5 yards. And that's down to the 42. Let's look at Jay's kicker.
And you could try a desperate 59-yard field goal.
Yeah, he's 2 through 5, out to the 37. So you got to decide: are you better off with a Hail Mary here, or trying that desperation field goal, which is a 1 out of 36 chance? You need a snake eyes to get it. Or you could possibly get a +5. I mean, a -5 on the variable field goal range. That would just put him to the outside edge.
Or you could line up for field goal and try the fake.
That's true too. It looks like he's going to go Hail Mary. Tim goes to a 3-2-6. And that's another thing when you have a back that can go deep like that. On this type of situation, you can throw to him knowing he's not going to be double teamed. They'll use the outside linebackers to double team the other guys.
Why would you double team him? He's covered by the best pass defender on your team.
They're all the best pass defenders. There's an interception, hits the 7. See if he can get some magic here. He takes it back for 20 yards, and that'll be at the half. So you got to feel good if you're Tim. I think his game plan is pretty much gone to what he wanted, and obviously Jay's stuff that he's doing is working as well. He just hasn't gotten a couple of breaks. He had one drive that ended on it was a guess wrong end run, and it hit one of the bad rolls on the D card. There was nobody in the zone, and then other than that, his third downs have been really rough. While Tim's gotten some nice dump offs and an end run on Prescott's card once on a third down. So he's gotten some breaks, and I think it's anybody's game at this point. What do you guys? How do you guys feel about it?
Well, both these two clubs have good offense. I'm telling you, a 10-point lead. Plus, he's getting the ball back here at the beginning of the quarter. He's been able to move the ball relatively effectively. I say he just stays with his game plan. He should be fine. And the fact that he's got that nice secondary, I think he's going to stay in the game. This 10-point lead isn't nothing in this. It's not even.
And Jay's not the kind of coach that's going to panic either.
Not at all.
Jay, for me, is kind of like playing against Ron Martin, where even when he has a bad team, it always seems like my games against him come down to one score.
Me too. I agree. 100%.
very, very, very rarely blown out.
Mm-hmm.
So just based on that, even without looking at the teams, I think that he's going to keep it close in the second half.
Yep. I think you're both spot on. Did these guys play each other during the regular season?
Yes. Cincinnati won 35-24 in week 3.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
so they have offensive capability, obviously.
Who was the main quarterback there?
For Cincinnati?
No.
Oh, actually, Tim used Patrick Mahomes more in that game.
Ah, okay, interesting.
So maybe that may even be more reason to stick with Prescott in this game.
Right, give him a little something different flavor.
Well, it didn't work very well for Tim in the first game with Holmes going 11 of 25. It just my opinion, but when I play against Jay, he seems like he's really, maybe it could just be me, but really spot on with his defensive calls too.
No, I feel the same way. He's one of the toughest coaches out there.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my games seem like they're lower scoring against him than against other coaches, and maybe on both sides. I'm not sure what his aggressiveness index would be if you were to look at his tendency for going on fourth down and that type of thing.
Right. Well, we've already seen him go deep more often than you normally expect a Derek Carr led team to do. So he's trying to take advantage of those matchups with the fours in the secondary.
Well, and not just that, but I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier. There's not really much of a pass rush.
Right. That was there's a first down throw after the kickoff. Allen Robinson brought it in for 11. There was a sack chance for that, only 24% chance. Braden Smith held off DeMarcus Lawrence with a random 30 roll. There's a deep shot to Jones again against the run call, and another plus 30. That's his second plus 30 guessed wrong today.
And he has 3 catches. He had a 66-yard catch earlier in the game. So
yeah, Tim's not worried about. I mean, Tim's worried about the Aaron Jones running, so he wants to keep Jay honest. But man, Jay's hit that deep shot a couple times now.
Well, that one was the dreaded right-wrong double-teamed hit too.
Right, exactly. That was the same role he had earlier in the game. Slant to Higbee, single cover by 4, and 10 yards. And just like that, Jay's inside the red zone, trailing by 10, but he certainly looks like he's going to cut into that lead right now.
Mm-hmm.
Three, 4 showing blitz now. Inside run draw. So Jay says, oh, you're going to bring some pass rush? I'm going to run a draw. 5 yards, pick up 2nd and 5.
Yeah, it does look like Tim has done a pretty decent job of holding Aaron Jones in check. And I don't know if that's play calls or just bad rolls.
But yeah, and at the expense of giving up those big plays. Yeah, you're right. Jones, 12 runs for 38 yards, only a 3.2 average. 3-4 showing blitz again. Kamalia Correa is his best linebacker pass rusher. Curled to Allen Robinson. He's bringing some heat. Defender X and the 4 makes the play. Darryl Worley slaps the ball away just before it gets into Robinson's hands. It'll be 3rd and 5. Containment's in effect.
Second play he's made today, right? In coverage?
Yes, that's right.
That's nice for a 4.
Now this is another thing with the aforementioned Correa at right outside linebacker. He's a 0 against the run. So, Aaron Jones has a nice end run wrong column.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to look at that, if you look at his column, it's like everything except 4, 5, and 10 would get you first down if you broke contain.
Of course, you could blitz him and just slide 6-rated David Mayo outside there too.
Yeah, that's a nice counter, which then you could run an off-tackle draw to that side, anticipating that. So this is some nice cat and mouse stuff going on here in this one.
That is because if you run a draw to that side and Mayo stays home, then you got a 6 backing up that too. So
Right.
Yes.
it's a, like you say, a really interesting cat and mouse there.
Curl to Allen Robinson. The free safety stayed home, so no free safety blitz. 3-minute zone.
Came up to plug a flat.
Yeah.
And that's a score. Nope. There you go.
No 5-yard dump off. But it's a first down, 1st and 10, and there was a D on that black die, so it would have been a sack chance if he would have brought a high linebacker. That would have been the contest. Three, 4 showing blitz on this 1st and goal play. Inside run to Jones, and he's being keyed.
Going nowhere.
Still gets 2 yards.
Oh.
That is
On his own part.
Yeah, determined running. The best result possible for Jay.
Slightly
2nd and goal.
minimum fumble chance there.
That's true. It's something to keep an eye on. 2nd and goal to 5, 3-4 showing blitz. Latavius Murray joins Aaron Jones in the backfield along with Vernon Davis in a full house. It's an all-out blitz. Curl to Robinson, hits a blank on Carr's card, leaving us with 3rd and 5. A run guess there would have been plus 14 and a touchdown. So Tim's making good calls as well. I mean, we've talked about how good Jay calls the game on defense. Tim is no slouch in that department.
And Tim had a good chance on that pass rush chance too against a 2-rated pass blocker.
Right. You know, we've talked about he doesn't have a lot of pass rush, but you don't need a lot of pass rush against the right tackle 4, the right guard 2, and the center 4.
No boost from the blitzing linebackers inside the 10.
Right. But I'm just saying in general, if you want to try to combat his deep passing outside the 10, outside the 20 or whatever, that's something to keep in mind as a possible weapon for Tim. It's a slant to Higbee, and it's a run call. 4-minute zone, guessed wrong. Incomplete. Michael, what happened there?
It was incomplete on the receiver's card.
No, I want you to use your catchphrase.
Oh, dancing between the raindrops. Excuse me.
There you go.
There you go. You threw me a bone. All right.
It left Jay high and dry, but he still gets his 3 points, cut it to a single score game. 9:54 to go in the 3rd quarter. Important drive here for Tampa Bay. They want to keep the ball and hopefully get some points, but they want to keep the ball and eat some clock in this SOMIFA semifinal game.
It's a good drive for Jay. I mean, I know he's disappointed that he doesn't get 7, but there really wasn't much of a problem with that. I think he was able to move the ball relatively freely, so he's got to feel good about that.
We'll see if he can stop or slow down Tim relatively freely.
Mm-hmm. Mahomes in or Prescott? Let's see.
No, it's Prescott.
Prescott, yeah.
Off tackle to Coleman, picks up 3. The linebacker in the zone, Foy Oluokun, is only a 4 against the run.
It looks like Tim has been saving Miles Sanders too.
Yep. Long to Blake Jarwin. Nobody's in the zone. It's going to be a dump off for 6. That'll set up a 3rd and 1. Prescott scrambles around the edge. Eddie Goldman 0 pass rush against Nick Martin means that there was no chance for a sack on that with no extra linebackers coming.
Mm-hmm.
The random was only a 12 though, so if Jay had brought some linebacker pressure, that might have been a different outcome.
Well, against a 5 pass blocker, you would need quite a bit of linebacker pressure.
I think, yeah, but I'm just saying because the random roll was so low. So
Mm-hmm.
You hate to waste those low rolls like that.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Sneak to Prescott, King Sanders, 3-yard pickup Dak says, I'm the man. I'm Patrick Mahomes, hold my clipboard. Let me go take care of this business.
It's a good call. Sanders has a good guest right off tackle run, percentage-wise.
Yeah, I noticed that Jay is willing to do those keys, more so than other coaches. And it usually pays off for him. Just didn't get the right guy this time. Those high leverage spots where it really could really make a difference between ending and drive. Fly to Slayton, covered by a 6. And it'll be a must run for 7. I don't want to say anything, but is Mahomes has a long gain on 8, doesn't he? Now, as you can always, like Jay says, Jay has this in his calls. Like, if you game's so much easier if you know what the roles are going to be. Prescott hit that plus 42 against me or in the regular season on the must run, so he's got a little bit of a dangerous option there.
Wow, look at that.
Crossing pattern to Ridley, linebacker pressure coming. Guessed right on Prescott's card. It's going to be incomplete, setting up a 3rd and 3. Cincinnati's gotten his 3rd down conversions up to 50% after that last scoring drive. Tampa Bay is sitting at 63%, 5 of 8, and looking to improve it on this one.
So he's got Sanders back in there this time.
Yeah, so right now it seems like Tim is using Miles Sanders exclusively as a 3rd down back.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 16 carries left, and we know he's a good guest right runner. So after the key, are you more willing to run him here, thinking, oh, he won't key him twice? Or does that in the back of your mind, I better throw it because he's going to cold run and key me?
I think you'll call run and flood the flats.
He did that. And another one of your trademarks there. And he looks for Darius Slayton, guess wrong, and it misses them on 7.
Wow. Tough break, but Jay's going to, I guess, turn him over.
There's the kick inside the 10, and Erickson calls for the fair catch. But job done for Cincinnati. You got your score, and you stop them. You got the ball with a chance to tie it.
But a long ways to go.
Long ways to go. This is one of those little spots where you might want to show blitz and bring the house. Hope to make it a gambling spot to see what happens. That's not Tim's style. Tim comes out with a 3-4. Maybe he'll bring some linebacker pressure. But the deep passing for Carr has been something he's worried about.
It seems like it's a little bit easier to do that when you've got a good secondary too.
I agree. 7-yard pickup on a guessed wrong run on the D cards. 2nd and 3. And Jay has no problem taking his time going on a nice long drive too. He's not depending on those long passes.
Here's a good spot for Latavius Murray.
Yeah, here comes Murray into the game.
Jones pickup of 7, his longest run of the game.
Wow, good point. Inside run to Murray. Guessed right, but it's going to pick up 10 thanks to the block of Marquise Pouncey. Gotta love those 6 centers for the linebacker, right, Jay? I mean, right, Zeb?
Roger that.
And that's Zeb's signature play, I think. Off tackle right to Jones. Nobody's there. Guess wrong. And there's his new longest run of the game. 14 yards and a 1st down. Of course, if that's the one that he got burned on several times on the long pass. If he had gone long there, he guessed right, guessed wrong, double teamed, it's plus 30. Quick out right to Higbee. Michael Kendricks makes the play. Those 4s are stepping up today for Tim.
Yep.
You always feel bad when you're on offense and your opponent makes a play with that 4, but you got to think about it. They all make the play 1/3 of the time, so don't be so surprised that they made the play. 3-4 showing blitz. Is he going to bring some pass rush here?
Jones covered by a 4 in this formation.
I think that's why you see Jay do it, so he can use that deep threat without having to worry about the 5 covering Jones in that blocking back set.
A little bit riskier once Tim shows blitz, because then any pass to Jones is an automatic sack with the asterisk.
Quick out right to Higbee, guessed right, but it's going to be a white die 6 for 7 yards. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Good down for the offense here. Playbook is wide open. Still staying with this 2 tight end formation.
He's got all that good run blocking. He's going to inside run to Jones. Guessed wrong. There's a man there, though. The linebacker steps up. David Mayo.
Mayo, that's right.
You know, most people, they say, hold the Mayo. Tim says, I'm going to bring extra Mayo. He stuffs it. And Jay will punt. Tress Way inside the 10 again. Oh, no, it rolls into the end zone. Way's had 2 punts where he pinned him, one inside the 5 and one inside the 10. But this time it was just a little too strong. Mahomes checks into the game. Mahomes says, I can throw that long gain on 8. Let me have a shot at this.
Tim must have some sort of a feeling going here. Maybe just wasn't very impressed with Prescott's first drive.
Well, Mahomes can still attack the flats effectively. With Mahomes in the game, maybe he'll keep his free safety home a little more and open up the short passing. Or maybe he just wanted to try to get some runs. Eddie Coleman makes a play there with the linebacker in the zone. Was that what were you saying? What do you think why do you think he went with Mahomes?
I'm not sure. I think Prescott's been working fine. I was going to say Mahomes' flat pass card last year was outstanding because he had really, really good gains at 6 and 7, and this year was definitely not as productive on the flats.
Mm-mm. So I looks like he was trying to get him into the game as a decoy almost, so he can get some guessed wrong runs. But Jay says, I see what you're doing. And he's called run on both of these plays. And he's got no yards. That would have been a short gain guessed wrong.
Well, and Jay not as worried about the rather long pass with all those 6s in the secondary. Exactly. Tim's staying with a two wide receiver formation on 3rd and long.
That's been what he's been doing lately. But that was when he had Dak in there, and he even put an end run there one time. This time, though, it's a curl to Slayton, defender extra plus 13, and of course the 6 is going to make that play even against the white die 6.
Wow.
So time to punt. So now you can see why Prescott's been the main back lately. I mean, the main quarterback. 12-yard return, that's going to give Cincinnati great field position. 1:12 to go in the 3rd quarter, down by 7.
Well, you can't really put that on Mahomes though. I mean, he comes in for one drive and he only gets to attempt one pass in an obvious passing situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But mentally though, I wonder if we're going to see him again, unless it's absolutely necessary at the end of the game, because it's kind of going away from his game plan, and that's picking on the flats. Those deep 4 are all 5s and 6s.
I have a feeling that Tim had it set in his game plan to use Mahomes on 1 or 2 drives each half, and that just happened to be where it lay. So,
because just from the standpoint of how he would like to control the game, I think it would make more sense to have Dak in there trying to
Guessed right run. Nice job. He plugged the zone, the opposite, the non-Mayo zone. He plugged the mustard zone and called run and got a 0-yard gain.
He's got all the condiments.
That's right. And we know how much Mahomes loves ketchup. So, so we got a 3rd and 8. 3-3-5 for Tim. Three
Leaving
wide
David
for
Mayo in the game though at the middle.
nice. That stops
He's
the
saying you're not gonna run a draw on me on 3rd and long.
No, right.
right, and you have the white die one to worry about if you do that. But Tim's not taking any chances. Of course, that opens up like the short gain chance on a flat pass to looking. It's a slant to Higbee though, covered by 4, not doubled. Can Derek Carr come through with a clutch throw? He scrambles, picks up a yard, and can't make up the yard. He thought he had an opening, but he was tackled by Darren Payne. The quicker than you would expect nose tackle. There's a punt inside the 10 again by Way.
7 is a tough place to make a decision there.
So he grabs it, but no return. With a touchdown on 2, it makes it a little bit easier.
Sure.
Let's see who comes out this time. Looks like Prescott's got his helmet back on.
But the 7 for me is usually like right at my line of decision of whether to let it bounce or to try to return it.
Yep, for sure.
You're just about 50-50 there, whether it's going to make it in the end zone or not.
I'm playing in Jay's Tecmo League, and one of the facets of the league is drafting a return team's coverage, and I have the Rams or Raiders, I can't remember which one it is, in 1991, and they have like -4 on 7, -3 on 8, and -2 on 12. They have crazy punt return coverage. I'm just waiting for somebody to try to catch it at the 4 and get a safety. Screen right to Coleman. There was nobody there, so the coverage on the receiver reading goes to wrong, and he picks up 9 yards. Second and 1.
With Mahomes, and sticking with Mahomes too.
Oh, he's sticking with Mahomes. I didn't notice that.
That's surprising.
No, he's like a. I mean, there's not really a bad choice there, but now when he brings in Mahomes, Jay's aware that he doesn't have a great flat pass guard, so he brings the pressure, and Tim counters that with a flat pass. So more cat and mouse stuff here, depending on which quarterback's in the game. Miles Sanders checks in on 2nd and 1, off tackle left to Sanders. There's a man there. So again, Jay's not as worried about the flats, so he brings an all-out blitz. He's thinking, if you're going to go deep with Mahomes, I'll turn that 2nd and 1 into a 3rd and long. I should note, too, that there was a fumble check there for Miles Sanders of 6, and he's guessed right, he's a 6, so that would have been a fumble if he had called and run. 1st and 10 at the 20. Quick slant to Dawson Knox. Defender -1 or +3. He's a 6, so Devin McCourty makes the play. 2nd and 10. 12:36 to go in the game. Are we going to see another deep shot to Mahomes? I say yes, but I'm not sure when it's going to come. Coleman checks into the game.
I think I would, if I was playing Tampa Bay, I think I would pair up Sanders with Mahomes against this team, just because you've got the threat of a pass receiver against a 4-man in coverage.
Right.
And that's the only way to get that, because of the quality of Jay's secondary. And that just keep a little more pressure on the defense there.
Well, it's a guessed right short pass that landed on Mahomes' interception split. Just missed the pick.
Pretty close to getting that too. And now we're in obvious passing situation where it's coming. And
so he's got 2 guys here covered by 4 that can go deep, Jarwin and Sanders. Yep. But Jay's in a 3-3-5, so he can double both of those guys, and then his rest of his guys are covered single with 5s and 6s.
I think you and I have both said this. I don't like this choice of offensive formation in 3rd and long. Because I think that 3-3-5 nickel becomes stronger than I want it to be as an offensive coach.
Right. Short pattern to Jarwin, single Who's he doubling?
Hey,
Yep,
Ron.
single covered. Incomplete on Jarwin's card. And another punt. So tough going for the offense of Tampa Bay after that really fast start in the first quarter. Jay's kept them to 3 points since then. But Cincinnati's also only got 3 points. So you just wonder how long you can hold the, keep your finger in the holes in the dam there with Cincinnati's strong offense and all those fours in the secondary.
And
Jay goes 3 wide here.
Tim's got that nice Mahomes card. He's got to be wishing he could get a roll on the offensive card.
Yep.
Yeah, you almost think another option would be to go 3 wide with Dak and just try to flat your way down the field, flat and run with Dak and Sanders in there, because then you got the threat of the deep pass. Although Dak's not quite as good as Mahomes, but you can flat and run.
Well, that may be what's going to happen here going the other way.
Right.
Because that's a strength of Carr's card too.
Slant to Higbee, single covered, 3-man in zone. Tim protecting on the deep pass there to Godwin or Goodwin. So that's a plus 11. Right, wrong, or doubled. 1st and 10 at the 43.
Jay's going to have another nice team again next year, I think. Derek Carr may even have a better card than this season.
Stays with the 3 wide. Button hook to Jones. Single covered.
Back
0.
This way.
Yeah, 0 in the zone. There's that linebacker X, a short game.
Yeah.
Well, his other linebackers are 4, so that wouldn't have helped. Kiko Alonso, because it was a white die 5. So that's a short gain either way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Into field goal range.
Tim's not giving up that much by keeping Mayo there.
No. He brings in Kiko this time, though.
Will Jay run it up the middle?
Sideline right to Sanders, 4 there. And there's that white die 6. So this is the kind of the offense that I think Tim should use with Dak. Jay's using it to great effect. 1st and goal to 7, looking to tie this game up.
Well, Jay did a really nice job of flipping field position there, too, because he had the ball inside of his 10 early in the 3rd quarter. And then he wound up pinning Tim inside of Tim's 10 and then stopped Tim. Good punt. And so he hasn't had to drive 90-plus yards for this scoring attempt here.
Yeah, Tress Way making a bid for special teams MVP of this game. Slant to Higbee, pressure coming. And incomplete on Carr's card. That was almost a sack. 19 was the 19%. Darren Payne against Marquise Pouncey because there's no linebacker boost like Zeb pointed out. Random roll of 21. No, I think you got to keep doing that. If you're Jay though, you might mix it up with a run here, end run to Jones. That'll get it really close, if not in the end zone. He does. Tim thinks he's going to do that, but he stays with the pass. Slant to Higbee. Guess wrong. Touchdown. Just like that.
Right or wrong, it would have been a touchdown.
So Jay's had a strong second half. He's gotten the only 10 points, held Tim scoreless. Now it's time for Tim to answer.
Here's where you put Prescott back in. You just flat pass him to death, get you a long drive.
Well, this will be a big statement, about what Tim thinks of his team. Who he comes out with his quarterback here with 9 minutes left, possibly in this season.
Excellent point. The game's still up on my side, so it didn't crash over here. But he's taking his time deciding who to bring out. 17-17, Tampa Bay against Cincinnati in the SOMIFA Semifinals 2019 card set, and it's Dak Prescott, and still Tevin Coleman in the backfield. Now, Miles Sanders has plenty of carries left, but Tim's sticking with Coleman.
And he's sticking with the blocking back formation, possibly because of Josh Allen.
Fly to Darius Slayton. It's a run call, but the linebacker in zone is a 6. That's going nowhere. He wanted that on Dak's card.
Oh, that's your favorite safety, Jamal Adams.
Nice. It's funny because everybody talks about, and you pointed it out in the forum, his deficiencies against pass coverage. But if you keep getting voted to the All-Pro team, Strat's going to keep giving you 6s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
2nd and 10. Still Coleman, still blocking back set.
Well, and just for the record, I don't think that Jamal Adams is a 0 in coverage either.
Short pass to Ridley.
I just don't see that being his
strong point.
Right.
Yep. So that brings up a 3rd and 1. Tampa Bay was so good early in the games on 3rd downs. Here comes Sanders. He ran a sneak with Prescott when Jay did an all-out key in a similar spot.
And Jay doesn't have David Mayo, but Josie Jewell is a 5 against the run.
Square out right to Slayton, lands on Prescott's card, 7 yards and a 1st down. Out to the 41. Tim's got to breathe a sigh of relief. He's gotten a 1st down now.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
7:48 to go in the game. The time just keeps on ticking. You don't know how many possessions you're going to have left. Off tackle right to Coleman, a man in the zone. The guard needs to make a play, and he does. Dalton Risner. Is he Reisner or Risner? Either way, he made the block. 2nd and 3. Here comes Sanders in second and short. He's got 15 carries left. Well, I guess Coleman does have more short gains. Sanders is kind of chunky.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Coleman's got that 49ers boost to his running card.
Oh, good old Kyle Shanahan. Do you think the 49ers are going to wind up with Deshaun Watson? I'm hearing some rumors. Screen right to Sanders on an all-out key, and it hits the 7.
Oh, dear.
The only one that doesn't work.
Wow. Tough break.
3rd and 3.
Yeah, that's a great call by Tim.
Yep, he read that he was looking to stuff that. Now you got the same personnel, same situation, except it's 3rd down instead of 2nd down. You need 3 yards to keep this drive alive.
Flood the flats again, I bet you.
Well, between me and you, Dennis, I wouldn't be thrilled to see Deshaun Watson in the NFC West, but
yeah, definitely don't want him with Kyle Shanahan. That would be dangerous.
That division's got some pretty good quarterbacks in it already with Russ, up and coming Kyler Murray.
Quick end of Jarwin. There's a 6 there, and it hits a blank again. If he would have stuck with the call to Sanders, that would have been complete. 4th and 3, he's going to punt.
Or is he?
No, he is. That's Tim. Tim's not going to risk it like that. 47-yarder, straight away, inside the 10, down to the 5, and it rolls into the end zone.
My brother and I are lifelong Rams fans, so we talked for quite a while last night about the Stafford move. How desperate were the Rams to unload Goff to basically hand him along with 2 draft picks? Detroit's obviously rebuilding. They'll have to put up with that nonsense for 2 years, a guy who just can't control the ball. But I thought that the Rams were looking for more of a mobile quarterback. I was a little surprised by that. I think it's an upgrade, but it's quite a price to pay.
Well,
Zeb's a big Rams fan, too.
That's a good point because, Stafford, I've thought the same thing about, Goff is not that mobile as I see. He he reminds me of sort of like a baby moose out there trying to run these rollout plays.
Mm-hmm.
Off tackle right to Jones, and he hit the white die one, making that just a 2-yard pickup.
Well, the white die. It wouldn't have been a huge gain either way, but that makes a less favorable situation here. But Stafford's not ideally suited for that type of offense either. I don't think, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
But he gives him a lot more salary cap flexibility.
I honestly think that was the only reason why they made this. They had to find a trading partner who could absorb basically trade
and
a
the
2-year
cap is going to be
contract.
lower next year.
Yes, right.
Inside run to Jones again. And that's going to just pick up a yard on the bailout 10 roll. So 3rd and 7.
Those
Tim's
kind of trades are the ones that basically NBA teams seem to make, where you're basically dumping salary and you have to basically hand over draft picks. You're basically handing off old money, but you're giving a club first-round draft picks. That's the kind of stuff that just in the NBA, but not the NFL. It's just such a rare trade.
Yeah. Well, and Goff is young. Detroit is probably they'll probably give him a shot and see if they can get something out of him.
Mm-hmm.
So 3rd and 7 here. Interesting that Jay goes to a base set. Maybe it's his 4-down territory for him. 2 tight end set.
I don't
Tim
think
has.
so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But it's interesting that you do that after going 3 wide on 1st and 2nd down. Pitch out left to Aaron Jones. He's trying to get break contain against Korea, but he hits the 2 on his card. It would have broken contain on any of his linebackers, but 3 really suboptimal rolls for Jay there, and he's got to punt it back to Tim with 4:30 to go in the game.
And needing 7 yards, you even if you break contain, you're only getting about a 50-50 split. A lot of those rolls aren't going to get you 7 yards anyways.
Yeah. Okay, who's going to come out on this drive?
It'll be Mahomes. I'll bet you.
You think so? I think he'll stick with Prescott, but I really wish he would think about going 3 wide because I think that could work against Jay. He sticks with the blocking back set, and he sticks with Prescott.
And Jay could go nickel here too.
Yeah, we're under 5 minutes now. Crossing pattern to Ridley. Oh, and the 6 beats the 5.
Wow.
First time that secondary's been showing a small chink in their formidable armor. Jason McCourty, the other McCourty, but he's got both McCourty brothers. Can't make the play. 1st and 10 out to the 38. 3:36 to go. You feel a little bit better about that.
Jay calling run in a situation where many coaches would be reluctant to do so.
Correct. Off tackle right to Coleman. He's got a man there, and he breaks a 37-yard run. Oh my goodness! Big time players make big time plays in big time games. Tevin Coleman rips it down to the Cincinnati 25, and just like that, Tim shifted the field, and now he's running downhill.
And now he doesn't. He just wants to take it here.
Say that again?
Down the very end.
Right, yeah. If he doesn't want to just give Jay the ball back, only leading by 3, and give him like a full 2 minutes or whatever. So 1 more first down, use up the clock.
We'll see if Jay's defense goes into let you score mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or take more risks, maybe keying and stuff like that. Oh my goodness, short pass to Calvin Ridley. Doesn't use any time off the clock. And it was on the interception split. So a little scary there.
Mm-hmm.
2nd and 10, 2:42 to go. Let's take a look at we already know who the Tampa Bay kicker is. It's Younghoe Koo. And he is 2 through 9 at this range, 2 through 9 and 12 inside the 22. Coleman's got that short gain guess right on like 11 or something off tackle. Right. So maybe he'll try to run him, even if Jay calls run. Or maybe he goes with the flat, try to get like a nice one on Prescott's card. Off tackle right to Coleman. He does run him, and he hits the 11. The D was plugging the other way, and it goes for 21 because he had shifted his inside linebacker to cover the right flat. I don't know if you consider that let you score mode, but it's gotten Tampa Bay into 2 through 10 field goal range.
What a wily
And-
call by Jay.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, Koo is now 2 through 11 at this range, from the 3 to 12. So you just ram it into the line a couple times. Maybe Jay will call run just to give him a chance to get the ball back, or just call pass. I mean,
You've got to try for the touchdown here.
oh, does he have a high fumble number? He keyed him. He does. Oh my goodness! Can you imagine fumbling because you ran with Darrell Williams in this spot? That's a 7% chance, 7.3% chance of a fumble.
Ooh,
And when you got when you got Miles Sanders back there, why Darrell Williams?
Right, trying to catch him, totally off his game.
There we go. Now we've got Sanders and Coleman in the backfield.
Maybe that was just a mistake.
Was he a fullback on that play, or was he actually?
No, he was the other halfback. He was there in place of Sanders.
Get that at all? I don't understand that.
Oh, maybe he was the fullback. He could have been the fullback, I guess. Second and goal.
Yeah, I thought
2
he
minutes
was
to go. Off tackle right to Coleman. Guessed wrong. It's going to pick up 3 yards, and it's going to eat up some time. Jay will use a timeout. Third and goal at the 2.
Jay calling pass there. I wonder if that's again trying to let him score, or if he actually
get the ball back as soon as possible, or try to get a sack fumble or something crazy like that.
Because you don't actually in this situation you don't necessarily want to give up the touchdown,
right?
If you can stop him.
Well, but you're pot committed at this point. You've got timeouts in your pocket too, so no choice. You have to try for 3 here. With 1 timeout left, he's shown he can move the ball.
Yeah. And a lot easier to get a game-tying field goal than a game-tying touchdown.
Defense guesses run.
And they stop him.
He did.
Tevin Coleman, fatigued.
So that's about as good a scenario as you could have for Jay. Still has a timeout and 1:45 to go downfield.
No pressure on Koo. Calmly drills a field goal.
11.
Boinks it off the upright.
There you go.
On a roll of 11.
Yep.
Take the touchback. No time passes.
So 1:37 to go in the game. He needs to get into field goal range to send this to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But he's looking to get a touchdown too. He's only got 1 timeout left, but he's got plenty of weapons.
If he can get a couple of 6 rolls on a flat pass,
Yeah, he'll be down.
in no time.
Exactly.
David Mayo on the sideline. Kiko Alonso playing middle linebacker.
You think there'd be less chance of a look-in pass though in this spot with the only 1 timeout left. Short pass to Emmanuel Sanders, 3-man in zone, 13 yards, out of bounds. The Bengals are on the move.
Safe on defense, keeping 2 men back in the long pass zone.
Yeah, you can play it 1 or 2. Well, you can play it 3 ways. You can just keep everybody home. You can aggressively double team, or you can guard against that deep pass, and that's what he did on that last one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect to see Tim bringing pressure.
I don't either. I don't either.
Yeah, not with all those vulnerabilities in the secondary. But you got to double team smartly at some point. There's too much time left to just let him go down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Guessed right. Curler, Allen Robinson, 3-man in zone.
Well, he did double team Aaron Jones there.
Yes.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Brought his extra DB back. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I expect to see Tim keep at least 1 guy in the long pass zone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I actually don't. I don't know that Jay is pretty good at picking up on what the other coach is doing. There's a lot of time left. Jay is pretty patient on offense. With the way Tim's playing it, I don't expect to see Jay take a deep shot here.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just be a matter of whether he can get the hits.
Screen right.
He put 2 back
Guessed
there.
right. 2 in the deep zone. 5 yards for Jones. Set up 3rd and 5. Obviously, this is 4-down territory.
I'm surprised by that. He's not going deep in this situation. Use that extra DB to double team one of these guys, or put 4 in the zone.
Yeah.
He's not going deep here. I just know that he's not doing that.
Oh, man.
There's no extra
Interesting.
DB here.
3rd and 5. Daring him to go deep.
Well,
Trying to guard against the flats.
Yeah, Tim is guarding against a flat pass here.
Mm-hmm.
And because Jay is in a shotgun, he can't run Aaron Jones at Camelea Correa.
Correct. So I don't think Jay will throw it flat. I think he'll go short because he knows that Tim's got the extra DB back deep, and he does. He does go flat, though. Square out right to Robinson. Defender +2 or +5, and he's going to get all 5. First down.
Wow. He didn't get out of bounds.
If he had pushed his linebacker out over there, it would have been +1 and set up a 4th and 4.
Mm-hmm.
52 seconds left, only 2 first downs away from getting into field goal range. Let me look at Jay's kicker. That's Dustin Hopkins. He's 2 through 8, 11 and 12, 23 to 32. And 2 through 9, 11, and 2 through 9 and 12 at the next range. 3-4 again, guarding the flats. I don't know if that's necessarily the most important part of his game. And Tim
I think
agrees.
we're going 3-3-5 here. You got to start putting the pedal to the metal. If you're Jay, you can only risk flat passes, I think, for 1 more set of downs. And even if you're rewarded with going out of bounds, you're going to wind up around the 42 with about 15 seconds left to go. He's got to start thinking short. So I think that was the right thing to call timeout, to put that 3-3-5, assuming that's what he's going to do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Jay wouldn't hurry up. That's why.
He was
Jay
stuck in a
hurry.
3-4 because Jay went hurry up.
Okay.
That's right. Yep. Well, smart use of a timeout there. You really could do with one good double team here. Pitch out left to Jones, 3 wide. Is the white die one going to play an effect? It does. 5-yard pickup instead of a 5-yard pickup. So it played an effect, but the result was the same, right or wrong. And Jay's forced to use his last time out. But that could have been big if it was a 6 or an 8. Can you imagine being right now in 2nd and 17? Okay, he goes base formation, bringing Jones's runs back into effect. Tim responds with a 3-4.
And Tim's got to feel a little bit safer moving.
No, 3-3-5. I was going to say,
right.
Yeah, he'll go 3-3-5 here.
Yep, my bad. Jumped on that a little early.
No, it's the formation it throws out. I agree. I kind of looked at it thinking, yeah, I don't agree with the 3-4 here. I mean, no timeouts left if he doesn't get out of bounds. He's going to be looking at 22 seconds left to go. Even if he picks up even a halfway decent yards, he's out of field goal range. But he is going to do another pitch.
Picks up 6. Doesn't get out of bounds.
Yeah.
Like the ball.
Now 22 down to 15.
Now down to 30 if he spikes it. 22 if he goes hurry up. He goes hurry up. I think I would have spiked it there. You need the time more than the down. He just needs another first down here via short pass or Aaron Jones run to get into field goal range. If Tim can make a perfect call here and stuff a run, that could be huge. Or
he's got a lot of flexibility to double team as well.
Yeah, take that free safety, double team one of those wideouts.
Do you dare go up? Do you dare go up top if you're Jay? Just try to end it right here with a deep pass.
I think with 15 seconds left to go, you get one chance at a completion at that point.
Running at the 6.
Pitch out right to Jones. He gets out of bounds. 2nd and 5.
Can he kick a field goal from here?
So in my game against Jay, he could. It would be about a
2 through 5. I think. Let me look at it.
About a 25% chance. So the This
Yeah,
is sort of
2 through
interesting
5.
because when Jay and I played, Jay ran into the same situation time-wise at the end of the first half against me. And if he doesn't get a first down here, he's not going to be able to spike the ball.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so
And that wound up Jay wound up attempting a long pass in our regular season game with 1 second left in the first half.
I think he
Although he
will be
was-
able to. Wait a minute. He's 15 seconds left, 2nd and 5. If he runs, it'll take it down to 1 second with a spike on 4th down. I think he's okay here. If there was 8 seconds left, yes, he'd be in trouble. Or if it was 3rd down. Inside run to Jones.
Yeah, but he could spike it and have 4th down. I'm wrong.
Yeah, so he can spike it here.
Exactly what he's going to
He
do.
will.
If you brought Mayo up there, it would have stuffed it for a 1 yard loss.
Oh, wow.
So here we go. Are we going to overtime?
I would say about 80% sure.
I think you're right. And we are headed to overtime.
Wow, great last drive for Jay.
Aaron Jones is in fatigue now, so we'll see some more Latavius Murray. Looks like Tampa Bay is going to get the ball first. I didn't notice if he called a draw there, but he didn't. I don't think he had Mayo in the game anyway. I think he had Kiko Alonso in the game, but that would have been a ballsy call there to get that. I'll be right back, guys.
So what do you think, Michael?
Well, I think this is a great game.
Who are we going to see coming out for Tampa Bay this drive?
I think he'll probably go back to Prescott again, I would imagine. So we're playing 15 minutes.
He's got to go all in with somebody at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And he does have he's got the advantage of having unfatigued running backs that are better. Jay's got Latavius Murray in the stable, but who's not as big of a threat as Aaron Jones.
Very true.
And you'd like to have a couple more unfatigued carries with Jones,
Mm-hmm.
so you could toss him out there as a pass threat.
Yes. So he just became fatigued on that last carry, I believe. Is that
And
correct?
you can still get some mileage out of him. That the first couple levels of fatigue aren't going to keep Jay from handing off to him.
Correct.
I actually, if Jay gets the ball back, I wouldn't be surprised to see him stick with Jones just to put a little
As a decoy. I agree.
and maybe use him as a decoy. You wouldn't want to use him. You wouldn't want to get him so fatigued that he can't be a viable running threat at all. Timberley hasn't used Miles Sanders as much as I expected.
Mm-mm. Not at all. Hasn't thrown to him. Just a handful of carries. Let's see what his box score.
Especially down there in the goal line, where we saw him give the that one potentially ill-fated attempt to Darrell Williams.
5 carries, no catches. Yeah, he'll be kicking himself.
He would have if Williams fumbled that.
Oh, mercy, he would. You're absolutely right.
So who will Tim go with here? Coleman or Sanders?
So Coleman is fatigued, so I imagine it would be.
He's keeping him in.
He is keeping him in.
Some more Dak in the game, huh?
That's with Dak, yep.
Quick outright to Knox. Nobody there. He's going to pick up 4. So you got to figure, I mean, sure, the end game would have played out differently, but if Tim had punched it in there, gotten a touchdown, well, I'm not sure Jay would have had enough time left, although he would have taken more deep shots or more short passes as well. So it's hard to say.
Here we go with Sanders.
We saw Coleman hit a big run. Maybe we'll see Sanders hit a big one here on one of the edges.
He left Coleman in on the first down play here.
Pitch out left to Sanders running at that 0. The offensive tackle needs to make a block, and he does, setting up 3rd and 1. Jay's been really decisive, I'll say, on his 3rd downs, trying to get the keys, flooding flats. So what do you do here if you're Tim? Flat pass or run it or what?
I mean, Jay's got that 6 free safety, so that gives you the call where you can bring the safety up to look in and flood both of the outside flats.
Will we see a sneak to Prescott again? Maybe Jay will key Prescott. Sideline right to Ridley. Guest right, 4 defender there. Sack chance was against the high linebacker or second high linebacker who wasn't coming. And it's a 1st down for the Bucs.
And Jay doubled, but he doubled the other wideout.
See, I think that would have been incomplete if he correctly double teamed him.
Only way to stop that play.
So Coleman back into the game, even though he's fatigued. Tim looking to get one more short gain, or at least to get a run call, and he does. Short pass to Blake Jarwin picks up 10. Tim, seeing Jay Cole run when Coleman's in there, decides to go ahead and take a shot.
What was the over-under on this game for his points?
I think it was right at 43.5, so it's still up in the air. Now, probably would have been more, I think, yeah. 1st and 10, out to the 48. Coleman stays in there. He's got 2 carries. Oh, 2 carries left at fatigue level 1. So he'll lose a yard off these next 2 carries. Quick outright to Knox, correctly double teamed, and it still's complete. Prescott makes the throw, threads it in there between 2 men. 2nd and 3.
Yeah, so that would have only been a 5-yard gain on Mahomes' card.
Nice. This is the kind of game you play, guessing game you play with Tim's team, Prescott or Mahomes. 2nd and 3, Sanders is in there, off tackle right. He's stuffing that right zone, nose tackle -1 or +3, and he makes the play. Eddie Goldman, 2/3 of the time he's going to make that. Without a man in the zone, it still would have been no gain, but sets up 3rd and 4 instead of 3rd and 3.
With Prescott in, you got to think this probably is a passing down.
Miles Sanders is good.
Guess
wrong. So if he guesses pass, you could run him and run and get it on everything but 5 or 10. He misses on 3, 5, and 8.
If you're going to run and run, you're probably going to run into that Josh Allen with the 5 offensive tackle out there blocking.
Let's see what combination of possibilities that Jay comes up with. Like you said, that 6 free safety gives him a ton of flexibility. Square out right to Slayton. There's a 4 there. Linebacker in zone X or short gain. Double team Sanders with Jamal Adams. The 5, if that was the only zone he could have thrown at to complete that, Henry Anderson could make the play, tripped over his shoelaces, and it's 1st and 10, Tampa Bay at the Cincinnati 35. Coleman back in there. Again, that Jay's been consistently dropping Oluokun, trying to guard against the right tackle, 6's block, Ronnie Stanley. And Knox's onside end block. Curled to Slayton. Single covered +17 on the receiver card. He had been doubling Calvin Ridley, and it's inside the red zone now. Tampa Bay is 18 yards away from a Super Bowl rematch with Seattle. '2020. What a drive here by Tim. Overtime, looking to break through. 16-30 for 178. Slayton, 6 receptions for 113 today. Now those Coleman short gains, guess wrong, are looming. How about an off tackle left? Tim's taking his time. Off tackle draw, right. Gets rid of a Loiquan, looking for a short gain in his card. Instead, it's an offensive onside in, and Dawson Knox makes the play 2/3 of the time, doesn't make it this time. 2nd and 10. And 8 there would have been game over.
That's a nice bold draw call by Tim.
Yes, it was. Sanders is in there now. His edge run's not much of a threat, or as much of a threat when you're at this spot in the field. But an end run, he has a short game there in the middle. It's an end run to Prescott. Oh, and the defensive end makes the play.
On his card, I think that's a short gain.
Oh, it was a 5. Oh, wait, no, he did make the play. It was a 6 against the 5. It'll set up 3rd and 5 at the 13.
Jay's got the advantage of containment here.
That was the last end run for Prescott.
Yep, that would have been a short gain there on his card.
He stays blocking back halfback. What will Jay respond with? 3-3-5 or 3-4? He goes 3-3-5.
Gains 4 yards here.
I think he brings out young Hui Koo because he knows Jones is fatigued. But that would be an interesting.
He would be inside the 10, so he would have limited options there. Dak's flat passing wouldn't be so helpful on 4th and 1.
Correct.
Inside the 10.
So will he run it here, trying to break contain? Will he throw flat? It's a curl to Slayton, looking to get his receiver card or Dak's card guessed right. Here it comes. It's a dump off, short gain, 13 yards. Blake Jarwin comes out of the backfield after Prescott was pressured, takes it into the end zone, and just like that, Tampa Bay is heading to the Super Bowl. What a game. Great game, too. Great game, Timbo, says Jay. Pretty intense there. That was a nice, amazing drive there in overtime to put it away.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay doesn't really have the great pass rushing linebackers to bring.
Right.
He needs a high linebacker in that situation.
Yeah, he has a 4 in Alexander, a 3 in Henry Anderson, and a 4 in Josie Jewell.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't find that diamond in the rough to stop this drive.
Well, I mean, if you look at Jay's team, and he would probably say this too. I haven't talked to him about this, but lacking pass rush pretty much over at all positions, other than having Josh Allen out there on the one end, is really appears to be the only pass rush threat he's got on his team. So I'd be curious to hear if dump offs have been a thorn in his side all season.
But pretty impressive by Tim with that secondary. Just like you a couple years ago, Zeb, making it to the Super Bowl with a bunch of 4s.
And not much rush, too. I think that's what's really impressive about this is it's a field of 4s, but sometimes you play those teams full of 4s, but there's 1 or 2 monster linebackers who rush the quarterback. They don't really have that much of a pass rush to speak of.
True.
That makes it harder. You've got to be that much more accurate with your defensive calls.
And I think it's almost a given that you have a 3-4, so you've got that flexibility of at least having, one of those flat zones flooded, or at least it puts it in the other coach's mind. And it's nice to have a David Mayo, too. Both of his inside linebackers. Well, no, actually, Alonzo's a 4-4, but to have that 0-6, that's nice. Like Dennis had said, you got that flexibility to plug a hole. You can bring your guy off the end, and you've still got that ability to contain when you move Mayo over to the right linebacker.
Tim has done a really good job of using Mayo strategically this year.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, see if Tim's in the lobby.
Sure. As far as scouting.
What's that?
Not to help Dennis out as far as scouting for his upcoming game.
Tim's going to come on for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, he has done a good job with Mayo, for sure.
Nathan's in there.
Get Nathan in there. Nathan, when did you join us? We should have told us. We could have joined the broadcast.
His mic is off.
Oh, remember, he's working today, so maybe he's just watching on his phone. But yeah, very, very intense game, worthy of a playoff matchup for sure. Worthy of a semifinal. That was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought that when Tim tied it, when Jay tied it, I thought he had him. I thought it was going to be Jay's game, but Tim withstood the storm and put together just a magical drive in overtime.
Well, and I especially thought that when he'd driven all the way, Tim had driven all the way to the 5 or 6, 7, whatever that was before the end of the fourth quarter, and not getting that touchdown. I thought, oh gosh, that's going to come back to haunt him, and it didn't.
Okay, check now. See if he's oh no, he's still not there. You're already checking. There he is. Hey, congratulations.
Hey guys.
Man, how you doing? Are you got some heart palpitations there?
Yeah. Man, Jay made a great comeback. I'm like sitting there fearing losing that game in the last 2 minutes. That was a great game.
We noticed that you mostly went with Prescott. Did you have it in your game plan ahead of time to use Mahomes a couple times each half or once each half?
It was really by feel. I knew both. I was going to play both. Honestly, there was a little bit of wanting to get Mahomes some more action to try to avoid any interceptions, maybe on the short and long card, and hopefully get some dump offs. And I believe Mahomes avoided an interception Prescott might have had on a short pass. So
yeah, we saw that when it was a 4 on the split, 2-3 for picks.
Yeah.
So good point.
Jay calls such an amazing game, and his secondary is so good that I was worried about just running my normal offense. Honestly, I was afraid he was going to shut it down, calling run correctly and, shutting down the flat zone. So I planned on throwing more deep and short than I normally would today. And fortunately, I didn't have any picks, and I don't remember a sack. So, I got away pretty well, and of course got a dump off for the game winner. That was a huge roll. But man, Jay's really tough to go against. He's got a
with Jay's strong secondary and weaker linebackers, did you have any thought of just going 3 wide as a base formation?
I absolutely did, because my thought was it could kind of tie up his free safety, and I thought about it a lot before the game. In these big games, you want to be creative, but you also don't want to get out of what you do all year. And I decided I want to stay in my base offense. I'm going to throw a lot to Jarwin. I felt like that was something that was going to maybe help keep his free safety occupied. But, Jamal Adams is a force. And, my fear was he was going to, flood the linebacker zone and have Jamal Adams play middle linebacker and call a lot of run and, shut Coleman down. Coleman mostly had like 3 or 4 big runs. He had a couple of huge runs there at the end of the second half.
Oh, and the plus 37 at the end of the game to get you. Yeah. That was huge.
Yeah, Tim, if I was to tell you that Aaron Jones has 270 yards of total offense on the day, would you have ever thought that you would have been able to hold them to 20?
No, I feel like I would have had a feeling that Paxton Lynch would have been in a quarterback for me for the last few drives. That would have been over.
Well, you stopped him on the ground. I mean, I noticed that was a focal point for you early in the game. His longest run was only 14 yards, but he did beat you deep at least three times or 4 times. One of those two.
Yeah, I got really lucky with some things too. A lot of his key down and distance things with Aaron Jones just weren't working out. He would get defensive end minus +1 or +5 on 2nd and 10. And, Jones a lot of times breaks containment, gets out of those situations. I had Michael Kendricks make a couple of plays in the flat zone.
Yeah.
I definitely had more than my share of the roles in this one, but it was a great game. Like I say, I was really worried about it. I felt like he was a solid favorite. We've got similar teams. I think my quarterback's a little better, but Carr's really good. I love Carr's card, and he's one of those guys that I felt like was underrated in this card set. Really strong card. His weakness is, just really long passes. He's not quite as good as some of the elite quarterbacks, but
yeah, with those 4s in your secondary, I think Carr threw a little bit more deep than he normally would have, and to pretty good effect. But yeah, you made the good calls at the right time. That was just a tough game on both sides.
Yeah, it really was. I was really afraid of over double teaming and leaving my 4s, with defender X or long gain in the deep zone. I was just I get a feeling Jay's going to have read, my defensive pattern on this, and he's going to burn me deep if I do it too much. And you probably noticed, like on the drive when I was up 3 at the end of the second half, I kept 2 guys back there a few times just in case. I just didn't want to lose the game, and at that point I wanted to force him into a field goal. And Jay did a great job. I knew Aaron Jones was a danger to run and get him into field goal range, but at that point I was really trying to keep him out of the end zone and hope I'd get a missed field goal. I got really lucky. I made a field goal on 11 right at the end of the
Yes.
Yeah, we saw that.
second half, and I was just like, oh my God, it's good.
Okay,
just as a novice, if you don't care, as I really find this offense very creative, because basically to have the luxury of having 2 quarterbacks like Dak and Mahomes. As a novice coach, I've only been coaching like 4 or 5 years, but Mahomes has one of the best short and long pass guest right cards in the set. And if you look at your personnel, you've got one of the best deep pass receivers from a running back perspective in Miles Sanders. You've also got Darius Slayton, who's fantastic deep. You've got Ridley, who's a 5 short and deep, and Knox even is a halfway decent receiver going deep. And yet you see the value of a Dak Prescott that controls the clock and just picking on flat passes left and right. What is your determination for, because in every series, and not to give up your hand here or anything, but every series we were always talking who's going to be the one that's going to come out this time. And if you've got a short memory after Mahomes goes 3 and out, do they put him back out there again? Is there something that is it just you play by feeling, or is it personnel, or?
I think it was kind of a feel for the way the game's going and what I'm looking to do on that drive. I can't remember who I went with when I had the ball deep in my own territory. I want to say it was toward the end of the first half. It would normally be a Prescott kind of situation. I can't remember which guy I went with. But also,
yeah, you went with Mahomes, and he hit a flat pass that got you out of trouble, got you up to the 20.
Yeah, and I got lucky, really lucky on one. On a 1st and 10, Jay has a perfect call on a double team on Knox, and Prescott got a +7 off the double team card. That was a gigantic play for me to keep the chains, in good shape. And I got a couple of good breaks on the first drive as well. I got Sanders, I got a short 17 on like the first play of the game on an end run, and kind of felt like I needed to establish Sanders running at some point because I didn't want him to think, Sanders isn't going to run. I know he was going to play that, but I had to actually keep running him some. And I also got a big break. I got a long game with Slayton. And it's funny, Slayton's one of those guys, really about a third of the games, I made a conscious decision not to even target him once in the first quarter. I kind of made the opposite decision this time. I must have went through 5 or 6 times in the first quarter this time. And fortunately, I got a long game out of one of them.
So I do have to ask you about the run to Daryl Williams, excuse me. he was a little bit high fumbler. You were inside the 5. Did you notice that he was in the game, or did you think there's no way he's going to call run or key?
I felt like
Mr. Williams.
I felt like if I had them both in the game, it's just a hunchy play. But my hunch was that he was going to key Sanders if I did that, and I thought, guess wrong, I can get that, and that's a real risk. But also,
yeah, hold your breath on that one.
I'm sitting there with Coleman running down and carries too, knowing overtime's a real possibility, and even though he, only has, I could still get some play out of Sanders, but I like having Coleman as a threat. And I just thought, even if I can just save, 2 fatigue level 1 carries for Coleman, I really like to have him on the field, and got fortunate with, and that was part of it too. I know Prescott's in runs, if you can time them right, can be real valuable as well. He's really good at it. And Prescott had a really fortunate game running the ball. I mean, Carr, I think, got a +1 on his must run, and Prescott was normally getting 6 or 7, important yards.
Right. Yeah. Picked up a couple of key third downs. That one third down that set up a scoring drive when it was 3rd and 12 or whatever, and you hit long game, or you hit the 8 on the defensive cards to get exactly 12 yards for the first down on a Prescott end run. That was a big play.
Yeah, and I also had a dump off for like +12. I can't remember who it was, but it was like one of the few readings on his whole card that would come up.
That was Jarwin's.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was Jarwin. But yeah, I was going to throw a lot to Jarwin. I expected he was going to think that, but I wanted to kind of reinforce it because I wanted to try to keep some of the double teams away from, he still got them, but to Knox and Ridley and Slayton. But I've never probably thrown this much in 2 games added together to Slayton. It just happened to be one of those things I kind of thought about as like just going to play the game feel. I thought about doing the same with Sanders at a couple of points and really trying to force the ball passing wise to Sanders to, again, try to get Jamal Adams tied up. But Jay's such a good coach. I felt like he got hamstrung. He was getting the running back role, guess wrong, of 5. He had a couple of big ones on that, and I feel like Jay's got a better team. It just today, Aaron Jones didn't really get the roles, guess wrong, that you would expect. And I had a lot of luck, guess wrong, with Coleman. He had a lot of big runs. Didn't run Sanders much, but he got a short gain. So.
Yeah, it was great. It was just a really fun game to watch. And we have a reporter here from Seattle. He wants to know who are you planning to start in the Super Bowl, Mahomes or Prescott?
I think they're both going to be active. We hadn't actually thought ahead very much. The only thing I knew is I was like, oh great, my only path to winning this is to beat Jay and to beat Dennis. That's really going to be a lot of fun.
You're halfway there.
Yeah, I guess this was my 6th semifinal game, and I'm 3-3. I'm 0 for 2 in the Super Bowl, so we'll see how it goes. But I felt like going into this game, I had a good team, but I like Jay's team better. And you're not going to outcoach Jay. You just have to kind of hope the roles fall your way in that particular game.
Yep, and I think that you did well on both those points, and I thought you had enough good calls to and good roles to offset his better talent. But that's not to say that your team doesn't have a ton of talent too. Just the defensive secondaries obviously are a big difference. So
yeah, I felt really lucky, to be honest with you. I don't know what he had, like 10 points going into the 4th quarter. Man, I felt extremely lucky because I don't have the kind of defense to hold Cincinnati to 10 points. So I knew I was living right as far as rolling when he had the ball. And man, I guess going into that last drive, that was a real kind of thinker because really it's kind of a Mahomes drive in a lot of ways, you might think. And once we got in field goal range, I was a little afraid of getting too complacent there. Whereas at the end of the second half, I was really not wanting to lose my field goal range. Overtime, I was thinking hard about touchdown. I was afraid of just taking a field goal and then, giving Jay an obvious 4-down situation for the field goal and maybe even the game-winning touchdown. So I was really thinking about the touchdown that had a lot to do with me throwing it on 3rd and 5 or whatever it was there at the end. But, I was lucky that Josh Allen didn't get sacks on me. He was going against Taylor Moton and his asterisk. Sometimes when I was throwing to Jarwin with Sanders in there, was going against a 0. And I kind of decided I don't want to shy away too much from that asterisk one. I'll probably give up a sack, but I was hoping it'd just be one. But like I say, I was afraid I didn't want to shelf, Blake Jarwin, who's like the GOAT of last year's game with me against Zev. I think I had 4 or 5 long passes to him, and he had several drops off his card.
Yeah, well, after scoring on 3 of your first 4 drives, you had 5 punts in a row. A lot of those 3 and outs, but you wound up finishing strong with 2 scoring drives, one the go-ahead field goal, and then the touchdown to win it in overtime. So it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and you started well and ended well. So well done. Yeah. I gotta jump off, guys, so you guys can keep talking. But congratulations, Tim. We'll be talking about scheduling the game, and I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, Tim, I just had one question for you too. If you don't mind sharing about your strategy on punt returns. I saw there was one punt you fielded on your 7-yard line, and you attempted to return it, and you didn't. It wound up
fair
kind of. It didn't work well for you because it sort of helped Jay flip field position on you. And like for me, the 7-yard line is a really tough place to make a decision because you've got a good chance. You've got a chance that it's going to be a touchback, but there's a good chance that it's not going to be a touchback either. And if you let it go, and it's going to wind up, you'll get it your 2 or your 1. So if you don't mind, now that Dennis is gone, what is your take? Do you have like a sort of a line of decision, or do you play that by feel?
That's normally one. I let it bounce at the 7. I field them at the 8 is my normal rule of thumb, but it's one of those kind of gut feels. I have a touchdown on 2.
I saw that.
It's just a gut feel for that, chances of scoring on a 93-yard field are not too good, especially getting 7. And it's just one of those kind of not casual, but calculated decisions to take a shot at a big play. I felt like I needed a big play in this game. That's part of why I ran some in-run Sanders versus running him more off-tackle lineback, and had something to do with throwing I don't know how many deep, but I'm sure I was double my regular season. It just had a feel to me that I wasn't going to be able to have 14-play touchdown drives. There's a few coaches and personnel groups that I just don't like my chance as well. And I felt like this was one of those games that had a lot to do with wanting Mahomes to get more action.
Well, it's hard to get those types of drives against Jay, even when he doesn't have 6s all over his secondary, because he's so accurate with his defensive calls.
Yeah, he's not afraid to call run on like 2nd and 6, and that reduces Coleman too. There's certain coaches during the regular season I felt like 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7, these will be good draw situations for Coleman or off tackle, and just let my offensive line hopefully pick up a block. I didn't feel like I was going to be in those as much in this game, and like I say, Jamal Adams is a real factor. I just felt like he had several things he could do with him. One, he could go all out and stop the flat, move both middle linebackers to the outside, put Adams in the middle, and that really is tough to throw flat on.
Yes.
I was conscious about double teams. I didn't want to get into I gave up a pick 6 last year on a correct double team in a playoff game to you, and I was a little concerned about that. I wanted to move it around, but there were certain times also that I was just kind of forcing the ball to the same guy 2 or 3 times in a row, just because, sometimes that's not expected either. And, like I say, I've never thrown this much to Slayton. So I kind of felt like he scouted me at all. He'll know Slayton's just kind of one of the guys. I don't really focus on him, but I decided to this particular first quarter.
I thought you did a good job of mixing it up there, Tim.
Well,
because I noticed in the fourth quarter, especially, there was a couple of key plays where it may have even been in the overtime drive where Jay had double teamed, but he had picked the wrong wide receiver, and those were pretty critical for your victory.
Yeah, I had a one, I believe, toward the end where he got everybody but Jarwin. He got like 3 of the 5, and I threw to Jarwin, and that one was incomplete, but again, I felt like I had a lot of small breaks. I don't feel like I outcalled Jay. It's just, I happened to go to one of the guys that wasn't being double teamed. But yeah, I think there's a lot of not necessarily running scared, but being aware of what a great defensive coach and a great secondary I was going up against. So I came up with kind of a novel game plan for what it's worth. That wasn't really much like the previous 17 games. Luckily it worked, but just by a hair.
Well, you've got your hands full coming up with a novel game plan for Dennis.
Yep. And he beat me in the regular season as well. So, I'd lost to Jay and really wasn't super competitive in those games. I think one of them came out fairly close, but those two teams are obviously better than me, when I look at them. But, I wouldn't want to face Tampa Bay either. It's a tough quarterback running back combo. But like I say, if I was picking the teams I'd rather have, I would pick Cincinnati or Seattle over Tampa Bay. But Tampa Bay's good, and we might get lucky again and have a good game, and that'd be something I'll be planning and doing my best for. But it's just feels good to get past this one. To be honest with you, I hadn't thought ahead at all to facing Dennis.
Well, this might make you feel better. Michael and Dennis and myself are all in. You're not into Dennis's 2018 sort of SOMIFA offshoot league. But we recently just wrapped up that season, and Nathan Baylor won the Super Bowl that year with Dak Prescott as his quarterback.
Mm-hmm. And he's my quarterback here in SSFA, actually. So, and also I've got Miles Sanders, and I have Darius Slayton in that. So I kind of had a keen interest in. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not true. Oh no, that is true. Yeah, I did get Miles Sanders and Slayton. So I was kind of watching how you were managing your offense. It was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's funny, the draft really, we had a lot of weaknesses. We just kind of restructured 3 years ago, and we had a lot of weaknesses. So a lot of times rookies just kind of have a natural fit. There's nobody, it's pretty easy to beat out Sammy Watkins. So, Darius Slayton was a real easy pick for me when he was sitting there because I didn't really have a big play threat. And it at least gives you somebody who can. And fortunately, in a big game, he came up with a long gain on the first drive of the game. So I felt very good about that. Miles Sanders is a great chains kind of running back. He gets steady yards, gets right. He's got enough, get strong that you don't feel like you're wasting carries, even though he may only get 4 or 6. He's pretty steady and such a great flat and long card for a halfback. So
right.
you kind of threaten a lot of places on the field in a way to try to not get double teamed so much. I think I may have mentioned it in a Strat thread. Looking at last year's stats, I was the most double teamed and the most successfully double teamed team in the league by a mile. And I felt like I needed to improve not only my targeting, I needed to get a few better targets this year and run a little bit more, but also just have a better threat of running. I could pick up yards with Zach Zinner and Tevin Coleman last year, but this year I think my running game's a little more of a true threat to, just move the ball. I think Dak Prescott had gotten really, really cold, and I'll be honest with you, I hesitated just a little bit going back to him late in the game, but I felt like, he still had one end run there toward the end. I felt like I wanted to keep that in play if I could. I was kind of thinking there's a couple of times I ran him. I was kind of thinking Jay's going to call run. He's already sniffed this out. This is a in run Prescott down, but I went with him anyway. And fortunately, both times I was able to get away with him. One was a third down, but we were at the point of the field where I felt like if he got 9, it might set up like a 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, and I'd probably have gone for it. It's kind of tough to punt from, what was it, mile 48? Was it late in regulation? Mm-hmm. I think like my 48, 4th and 3. I had I got a 7-yard, I got a block on Dalton Risner made a block as a 4, and I had second 3 and then back-to-back incompletes off the receiver card wrong. And, I really thought about going for it there and, go big or go home. I heard Dennis in, my ear, but I was like, nah, it's not the way I'm as comfortable with. And I'd rather make Carr and Jones, especially with Jones getting his carries left. I wanted to see if I could force, Jones to expend some of his carries there in case we got to overtime.
Well, that was obviously bend but don't break when you got 270 yards from Aaron Jones. That's the kind of box score when you read it, it's like, well, I think there's inevitability to this.
Yeah.
This is one of those where Jones basically went off, but to hold him to 20 points after and again, I think a couple of those were on on Carr's card. I can't remember if it was a 3 or a 4, but he nailed that twice. And then, of course, his 68-yard pass. We got into the game a little late. I think you had just scored your second touchdown. I was just still getting the game ready and moving windows around and stuff. And it's like one of his little players is going down the other end of the field. It's like, well, that looks like a long gainer. That's a punt. It's like, well, that's a catch. Who caught that ball? And you didn't realize it was Aaron Jones. He went off. So I think you have to feel pretty and I think you also acknowledge, too, when you have a field full of 4s, that when those 4s are making the plays, you feel, especially thankful that the rolls didn't go 5 or 6, but they all even out.
I got several rolls on 4s. I think Kendricks had 2 plays as a 4, and Daryl Worley made a play as a 4. Eric Rowe, free safety, got beat for a long gain on that one, but like I say, I was kind of afraid that was going to happen anyway. I just didn't want it to be no men and long zone kind of extra long gain. If he beats my free safety on a 12, I can live with that a little bit easier. But that was a point in the game where I was starting to kind of feel, I didn't feel like it was going to be a blowout, but I was like, man, if I could just hold him to a field goal, get the ball back up 14-3, I'm going to feel real good, even though I kick off to start the second half. And then boom, 68-yard pass. I'm like, yeah, we're about to be 14-7. So.
And here we go. Right. Exactly. You got to be feeling really, really good about a 14-point lead. So like I said, I find your team interesting that it's full of 4s, not a huge amount of pass rush, but you've got to be creative, basically. We were talking about like a player like OJ Mayo, who's a 0-6, a novice who's looking at the game, it's like, well, that's a 0, but you have to go a little bit deeper to see the value of having a run stopper like that and giving him you got it in basically the other coach's mind that he's going to stuff that line buck, but you don't always have to do that. And you can basically stuff an end run and just move Mayo over and just hope that he doesn't hit that flat pass, defender reading. So you're a team that has to get creative with 4s all over the field. Basically, I think there was only 1-5, maybe your outside linebacker. And, you have an outside linebacker that guards Jones. And of all things, that's your best pass defending linebacker. And Jones was the one who went off on 3 catches that, of course, had nothing to do with, I don't believe had anything to do with the rating.
Yeah, that's Cam Correa. And, he's my only 5 in coverage. And, with J2, I'm fearing that he's going to pick up on patterns and things, and you worry about like just tossing a linebacker into linebacker zone or 2 and calling pass and have him run draws because he's kind of picked up on what you're doing. So I'm trying to mix that in and not only call run, but not overexpose with not helping the linebacker at all because I felt like that's part of my. I guess strategy is make a lot of plays versus the run. When the ratings come up, I don't necessarily have a great secondary, but we've got like a 6-5-5 on the line, and inside linebackers against the run are 5 and 6, and if I can get those readings to come up, and I think Mayo had a -1 or +3 come up, and it was like 2nd and 3, so that would have been a first down. Well, I try to use those guys and get them up in play, but also, worry about Carr just picking me apart, and especially in the look-in and right flat zone. But like I say, Kendricks came up with a couple of linebacker X's, so I was very fortunate with, the fact I was able to survive.
Yeah, and you don't even have the advantage of having a good pass defense. Basically, you're facing a team that has a good pass defense, and you have the average card. So again. I've only been coaching for 4 years, but if I was just a novice, basically looking at the roster and just peeking in to see this, it's like, well, my gosh, this guy's got Mahomes and he's got Dak Prescott. He's got weapons from the receiver standpoint, but that has nothing to do with defense. Now, you do have a pretty stout front 3, but with 4s basically dominating the rest of your 7 with the exception of a 5 outside linebacker and not a lot of pass rush to speak with. You've got to get creative defensively to hold a team like this that's pretty strong offensively as well to only 20 points. Because I think in the regular season, Zeb had mentioned maybe they'd put 35 on you.
Probably, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So you have to feel really, really good about that. So, I mean, you have to call great. You have to get some breaks, too. And I think you got a great combination of both.
Yeah, if you can get to like, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, you feel like you have a better chance, but it's really hard to get to those situations sometimes. And, I was worried too, like you're talking about, my best pass rush shots were going to be the asterisk, which I only have the free safety blitz to get an asterisk, or the second linebacker. And my second linebacker's best pass rusher is going to be a 4. So, I didn't really feel like I was like, I could bring 3 or 4 of them a couple of times and see if I could bump Davenport or Lawrence up, to a 9 or 10, and maybe that, come up. But again, I didn't want to give up like a plus 30. I think he hit a plus 20 on a flat to Sanders, but it was a LB60. I don't think it was an empty zone. And I'm just going to try to, hope that this, linebacker 6 didn't kill us, but I didn't want to give up too many empty zones. So played a little more conservative than I do against some teams and such. But, Carr's a tough matchup. Carr and Jones, kind of give you that thunder of being able just to move the chains over and over and over, because, Jones is going to almost always get 5 if he's guessed wrong. And you guess him right, and you can get, some of those good readings. I think I keyed him once. He came up with a +2 on a line buck, and I was like, yeah, I don't know how many times I can really afford to try a key here, but at least wanted to show one some point or two. And so I got that one, and luckily didn't give up a long pass on that play.
That's absolutely right. Well, this was an enjoyable game, and especially in the heels of the 4 game, unfortunately. And it was just all sorts of bad breaks for Tom when he played Seattle. So, we can only hope that this final game is going to be just as competitive as just fun to watch. So we'll see. We'll look for that schedule when you guys put it down. And we'll get ready to broadcast, and hopefully we'll have a whole bunch of people. Zeb, I'm sure you'll be back. Hope we'll find a mutual time that all of us can get back here and watch this game. Anything else you want to add, Zeb?
No, just congratulations to both Tim and Jay on a great season. Jay's wasn't ultimately successful, but he's got nothing to hang his head over, and he's got a bright future ahead of his club, I think, with that secondary with Carr and Aaron Jones looks solid again. Fun game to watch, and my work schedule may or may not allow me to view your Super Bowl game live. I hope it does, but if it doesn't, best of luck, Tim.
Thanks, Deb, and I'll just say congratulations to Jay, and you've got one more game, Seb, that you're still the champion until our game is over. So
That's right.
Your championship, sir.
Right, have a good day. Thanks,
Enjoy
Michael.
it if you can. Just keep that sash on, wear it to work. That's real important. Yeah. Well, listen, that was a fun game. Thank you both for sticking around here late to talk a little bit more about it. That's how we learn. These new people are coming in and playing this game. Keep watching these videos. You're watching the best coaches butt heads against each other. You're only going to get good playing, and you're only going to get good watching these great coaches. So thank you both for coming on and talking to us, and we'll be looking for that schedule. So that's your final score. So congratulations to Tampa Bay. So we have actually, I guess it's according to Hoyle, right? Number 1 and number 2 seeds will be playing for the SOMIFA Grand Championships. That time and date will be put on the website here pretty soon, and we look forward to watching it. Both you guys have a great day and stay safe.
So long.
Thanks, Michael. Take care.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. So again, that's your final score: 26-20, Tampa Bay over Cincinnati. There's your final. And we will be back with the SOMIFA Grand Championship here sometime over this week. That'll be Tampa Bay butting heads against the Seattle Seahawks, coached by Dennis Crowley, the number 1 and number 2 seeds. Everybody stay safe out there. God bless. Have a great day.